Hey everybody, this is Jeff with Wiseman Automotive, coming at you today with a video on how to change your oil in a 2013 Honda CRV. I've already got the vehicle racked and we're going to do an oil change and we're going to do a tire rotation. I'm going to give you the part number to the oil filter. I'm going to give you the torque specs to um, the engine oil drain plug. Just a little side note, if you do not feel comfortable doing any of these videos I show you because you think it's beyond your mechanical ability, but then all means hire a professional to do it. I do these videos to try to help you guys out. We usually get some pretty good comments back saying, oh man, this worked great, thanks for your video, stuff like that. So I like to help people out and show them what to do. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take the oil cap off, which is right on top of the valve cover here. And if you look right here, it takes OW20. So I want to take that oil filter cap and I want to put it right here, right where the hood latch goes, because I cannot shut that hood now. I would rather accidentally break that oil cap than send this thing out the road without that oil cap on the valve cover. If you don't replace this, then the engine oil will blow out of there, and I would rather not have that happen. I would rather just buy a new oil cap for 15-20 bucks. All right, right here, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take and pull the dipstick out. I'm taking just a little bit of engine oil, and I want to put on the O-rings right here. You need to make sure you keep those lubricated because they end up getting seized up. People don't lubricate them, and it gets seized up in there, and next thing you know, you break your oil dipstick. This thing only goes in here one way. Go all the way down. I'll pick it back up. And what I'm doing now, I'm just trying to see if this thing's burning any oil or using any oil. And nope, it's right where it needs to be, so that's a good sign. If you look right here on the oil dipstick, it's got a little contour here. And there's a little contour there in the valve cover, so it's made to fit there. So make sure when you check your engine oil, it goes all the way down. Excuse me. Okay. On this side right here, on the passenger side, I've already filled up. This right here is where you fill up your washer fluid. It's on the passenger side. And now I'm checking. I'm going to take my flashlight and I'm just going to do a quick little inspection, make sure that the serpentine belt looks good. I don't see any oil leaks or fuel leaks. The battery I just put in here a little while ago, it's got the battery hold down on there. I marked the battery when I did that video. You can check that out too. So brake fluid, it's about where it needs to be. It's getting a little low, so I'm wondering if the brakes aren't getting a little bit low on this thing. So we're going to check that out when we do the tire rotation. Will be the time to do that. So we're going to do a tire rotation. I'm just going to rotate them front to back for right now, and we're going to torque this down to 80 foot-pounds, the lug nuts that is. So stay tuned to that. Let me get the vehicle set up, and I'll rotate the tires. Now that I have the vehicle up in the air, I want to grab the tires at the 12 and the 6 o'clock and go back and forth like that. I'm trying to see if there's any play in the suspension or maybe a ball joint, or which is part of your suspension system, but even a wheel bearing, something like that. This one feels real good and tight. This car has about almost 100,000 miles on it, so you never know what you're going to find. And now I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go back and forth a little bit. I'm looking for play. Now in the front here, if you're going back and forth, that is checking for looseness in your steering system. A tie rod's gone bad, something like that. This right here feels real nice and tight, so we're good to go on that. I'm going to do that to all four tires, make sure I don't feel any play in anything, and then I'm going to rotate them. I went ahead and rotate the tires on the other side, and I thought I would show you on the passenger side, now that I have the wheel off, what we should be looking for and inspecting. So while I have the tire off, I'm looking at the brakes right here. And if you see the tip of my screwdriver here, the tip of my screwdriver is about 4/32 of an inch. To pass Virginia State inspection, you need 2/32 of an inch. So it's half of that width of the screwdriver blade of this pocket driver, which is not very much. But if you look right here, I can easily go, I'm going between the backing plate on the brake pad and the surface of the rotor here. I am well within that. I would say I probably, if I were to take this off and measure, I want to say I probably about 6 or 7/32, which is probably about half of a new brake pad. So I want to inform the customer that, yes, their brake pads are still good. They still have life left to them. but I want to let them know that they're about halfway worn. Okay, Honda and a lot of other manufacturers, they leave a inspection window right here, and you can look through there and check, and I can look in there and see that it has about the same as the outside, which is a good indication that nothing's wrong with the braking system. If your inboard pad is worn more than the outboard pad, you may have problems with your slides on this floating caliper, or maybe the piston sticking. It could be potential something like that. But both of them seem like they're wearing the same evenly inside and outside, so that's a good thing. I'm going to take and grab this tire real quick. You can see I put that other tire here on the trash can. This is the front tire. It's about to become the back tire. But I put it here on the trash can so we don't have to bend over and pick it up off the ground. A little back saving trick there. Now, coming through here, and I'm going to put tire on the front, and we're going to torque these lug nuts down to 80 foot-pounds. I'm going to use a torque stick. It's set for 80. That's what Honda recommends according to all data. So I got my impact gun here. I'll put my extension on, and let's torque it down. Okay, got my impact gun, got my torque stick. This is set for 80 foot-pounds. It will not let this gun torque these over 80 foot-pounds. So we're going to do it in a star pattern. Just like that. You do not want to tighten like this. You can damage or work the rotor, plus the tire can come unseat it, stuff like that. You may run into a lot of problems. So make sure you do it into a star pattern when you are installing the tire. Now that we have that tire installed and everything's looking good there, we're going to make our way back here to the rear, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to check the rear brakes too. So the first one we can check, your inboard pad. And Honda's got this little cage, makes it a little bit harder to see in there. With a flashlight, you can see in there. I can get my screwdriver in there, and they've got plenty of pad there. And you can see right there on the brakes that they got plenty of brake pad there. So customer brake pads are looking pretty good. Like I said, the front are getting a little bit low, but they still have plenty of pad to pass inspection, so they're still safe to go down the road. A lot of times people like to ask me, well, how long do I have on my brakes? That's kind of a loaded question, because what if this customer is the type of person that likes to ride their brakes? Well, then their brake life would obviously be less than somebody who is more conscious about not riding their brakes. You know, what if they're a running racer who likes to take off on a stoplight and slam on the brakes between stoplights? That's going to affect things. What if they live in a flat plain area, or what if they live in a mountainous area like around here? So I don't really like to give an estimate too much of how long brakes will last, because it's just a prediction, and I don't want anybody holding my feet to the fire. Like, well, you said it was going to last 10,000 miles, and I only got 3. And it's like, well, what kind of driver are you? So, anyways, just be careful when giving those predictions. I'm going to go ahead and torque this down, and then I'll grab my air chuck. I'm going to air all these at 32 psi. That's what the Honda wants you to raise the air pressure to. I found that spec on the driver's side here. Right here, there's a tire called a tire place card, and it tells you how much they want the tires to be aired to. So I'm going to go and torque this down, air up the tires, and then we'll get underneath the car so we can drain this oil. I got the oil drain already put underneath here. I'm going to sit you guys over here, hopefully get a good view. There should be a plate right here and held on by probably 2 little bolts or clips or something. Well, that's been long gone. That was gone before I ever worked on this vehicle. Somebody must not have liked it too much and gotten rid of it. Happens all the time. I got my 17 deep well 3/8 drive socket and my 3/8 drive wrench or ratchet, like that. Bust it loose. And let's see if I can do this without hardly getting any oil on me, or even better, hopefully no oil gets on the camera. All right, so bust it loose. Not really too much oil on me. Not too bad. Okay, remember, you're going to want to do this to a warm engine. Put that down a little bit. Now we got to get this oil filter off. I'll probably just use my pliers for removing oil filters. These things are great. Probably ought to do a oil filter tool review. That'd be a good video to do. All right, so as that's draining, I'm turning this guy. Okay, loosened him up. Now I'm going to grab an old rag. And what I'm going to do with this rag, I'm going to take and flip it over like that, and flip it over like that. I'm going to take this oil filter loose. I'll let it drain out for a second. You can see it's coming out there. As it's draining, I want to go ahead and grab my new oil filter. I'm using a P as in Paul, G as in great, 4612, F as in Frank oil filter. I'm going to take this out of the box. Got to remove the protective covering that's on here. Make sure you remove that. Get all of it off of there too. And as that used oil is draining, I'll take my finger, put it here a little bit. I'm going to put it around the seal here. Don't take a whole lot, just a little bit of used oil, put it around the seal. Okay. So you want to lubricate that O-ring. I'm taking my rag that I have turned over folded about 4 times. Come on. And patiently. Trying to go slow. Okay. I'm just going to turn it over like that. So now I'm going to lower this down a little bit. I want to visually look at where the oil filter was sitting on for 2 reasons. One, I want to make sure that that O-ring came off. If that O-ring sticks to the block and you put another oil filter on top of it, that is called double filtering the gasket, and that is not a good thing. Usually, when you go to start the engine up, the oil will blow right there in the stall, and you'll have a big mess to clean up. Sometimes it may last a little while, then blow a few miles down the road, then all the oil comes out of the engine, blows up the engine, and now it's your fault. So the reason why I like to visually look at that is that make sure that came off of there. And if you notice, I also wiped it with the rag. Have a nice clean surface for this new oil filter to fit on. I'm going to take this new oil filter and put it on there. Tighten it hand tight. And now I'm going to get a clean rag. I've gotten some fingerprints on that oil filter. Now I'm just going to wipe it nice and clean. Make sure it's nice and clean going down the road. So if the customer were to somehow climb underneath here and look to see what I've done, they can see it's a nice clean oil filter that's been changed out. Okay, I am going to let this drain just for a couple minutes, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, I put a new washer on here for the drain plug, and now I'm going to put this up in here We'll start it by hand, twist it in there, and now we're going to torque it to specification. I've already got my torque wrench. It's set, and the spec is 29 foot-pounds. So I'm going to use my 17 deep well socket. I'm going to torque this thing to spec. Listen for the click. Can you hear that? That's how you know you got it. Okay. Now, there's a little bit of engine oil residue here, so I'm going to wipe it off some with my rag here. And while it's underneath here, I'm going to go ahead and just give it a little shot of brake clean, because you do not want this engine oil leaking in the customer's driveway or the garage or something like that. Okay, that should be good. One thing I like to do is sometimes I like to paint these drain plugs. So what I'll do is I'll put it like this, dry this off real good, dry everything off real good. That brake clean will evaporate. Got some white out here. Hopefully it's not too cold. Okay. And what I just did there, I'll show you. I painted that drain plug so that way it can prove that if anybody broke that seal. So if you look right there, you look at that drain plug, where's that? Right there. I put that white out on there. Now, if something were to happen where somebody may, I don't know, want to mess around with that thing, and then they try to bring it back to me saying that I left the drain plug loose, well, I just torqued it down to spec, and if that paint is broken, then it kind of shows you that somebody's been in there tampering with it. You can use whiteout or fingernail polish to do that, and a lot of people do that, just kind of a little CYA. But anyways, I got it torqued down to spec, the 29 foot-pounds, and I got the oil filter tight. I'm gonna let it down, and then we're gonna put some engine on this thing, start it up, and hopefully get it out soon. Stay tuned. Another little quick tech tip for you guys is, first of all, make sure you have a waste oil rag container to put all your dirty rags in. But when it comes to my oil funnels, I like to cover them with a towel or two. And the reason is because when people are out here sweeping brooms and all the dust and dirt getting there, it just really helps to keep your oil funnel clean. So what I'll do is, even though that I put a towel over there, I'm still going to grab some brake clean, and I want to go like this, kind of clean the clean that funnel up, so that way dirt and stuff from the air that's gotten on there doesn't get in there, and you don't want to contaminate that new oil going in. So we're gonna kind of give a quick wipe down too with a clean rag here. And like I said, the brake clean, it will evaporate in the air if you give it just a few minutes. Now we got a nice clean funnel. You do not want to put, have a dirty funnel contaminating your new engine oil. Okay, I'm gonna use this funnel, and I'm gonna put OW20 full synthetic oil in here, and I'm gonna put all 4 quarts. I'm gonna dump them like that, and once I'm on the last one, I will get back to you. So I put 3 quarts in there, and the oil line came with right to the bottom here. So I put about another half a quart in there, just because I don't know exactly how much this thing takes. I figure 4-cylinder, about 4 quarts. So I got about 3.5, 3 3/4 quarts, something like that. And if you look, I'm right where I need to be. However, now we have to start the vehicle up to fill that oil filter. And you can pre-fill your oil filter if you want to. There's no harm in doing that. I just Didn't do it this time. So let's start her up. Remember, I put the oil cap back on because I did not want it blowing engine oil everywhere. I'm letting it run for a few seconds there. Does not take long. Turn it back off. And now we are going to stick it again and see what happens. Okay. And if you look, I'm at the bottom of there, so I need to add more oil. I will say it probably is better to pre-fill your oil filter, and I would say I usually do, especially when they're hanging upside down like that. That time I didn't. Wouldn't be that big of a deal. Okay. First, the rest of that quart. I want to say these things take about 4.5, but we're going to find out. Okay, we are in the cross section here. You do not want to fill it all the way up. Okay, you need to leave room for splashing around and stuff like that. That's actually pretty good. If you wanted to add just a teensy bit more to be at the halfway point, you could, but we don't have to because we are in the crosshatch section. I do have an open bottle here that's a little bit more. I'm going to put just a little bit more in there, but it doesn't take much. These are not very big engines. There you go. We're at the halfway point. Halfway point is like to where I try to get to. If I only had 4 quarts, like I said, it would have been just fine. You do not want to fill it all the way up. You want to leave room for the crankshaft to go down and basically not cause engine vibrations by overfilling it, because you can do that on some vehicles. So somewhere in the halfway point is where you want to be when you're checking your dipstick for your engine oil. When you're checking your engine oil, you also want to make sure that you're on a flat surface. You cannot check it in your driveway if it's like that, or if you're on a hill, something like that. Okay, I'm going to clean up my hands before I get inside the vehicle. We're going to write an oil change sticker and make sure there's no maintenance lights we need to turn off. As you can see, I'm inside the vehicle. I made my oil change sticker, and now I am going to hit this button, and you'll see somewhere, there it is, oil life 60%. Okay, you hit the menu button here and your source and your arrow buttons, and you look up here in the entertainment center, you hit menu, vehicle information, maintenance info. I'm just hitting to the right. I'm going to hit the button in the middle to reset it. Would you like to reset maintenance information now? I'm going to hit down and hit yes. Maintenance information has been reset. Oil life 100%. Look here in the dash. Oil life 100%. Turn your key off. Okay, now I'm on the outside of the vehicle. I'm going to do a quick sweep of the engine bay. I want to make sure that the oil fill cap is on there tight. I want to make sure that the oil dipstick is in there properly. I want to make sure that the washer fluid cap is on there tight. Basically, anything that I touch, especially, I want to make sure that I went through and make sure everything is good. Wipe up any oil like that I just found. A little bit of oil drop there before I shut that hood and let it go. Another thing you're going to want to do is do a quick visual inspection. Make sure there's no tools or any parts, pieces, anything like that left under the hood. I've done that before, and it always stinks having to buy new tools because you left them in the car somewhere, and tools are expensive, as we all know. All right. I want to say thank you for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, share this video, guys. Drop me some comments. You can ask me some questions. I'll do my best to help you out. Please support me so I can continue supporting you. God bless USA. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.